Hello, my name is Kaylee, and this is Bloom Sewing Studio. Welcome! I'm so glad that you're here today. On this channel, I like to share my creative process, my ideas, my sewing makes, my sewing plans, and share them with you to inspire you to want to learn to sew your own clothes or other things. I've sewn many things other than clothes, although I do focus mostly on clothes because that's what I like the most. So if you want to be inspired, please hit that subscribe button. Now let's get into the video. I'm going to talk about all of my fall sewing makes, and I'm going to compare that to my video of what I said I was going to make in the fall. I'm really excited about this because sometimes it's so hard to stick with what we say that we're going to sew, and spoiler alert, I didn't. So let's get into what that was, what I did sew, what I didn't sew, and all the details. Okay, so I'm going to play some little clips of that video from what I plan to make in the fall, and then we'll talk about that. I am going to make for fall is something that I'm actually wearing. So the first one here was this Madeline tee, which I was already wearing this shirt in the video. And it turns out that I didn't end up liking that shirt. And I mentioned it in the video that the neckline wasn't sitting right. The rib knit kind of gathered in the fabric around the neck and it just bunched up and I couldn't get it to lay right. So I don't actually have that shirt anymore, but I did make it for the fall. So that is probably the only time you'll see me wearing it is in that video. Although I did sneak it in a few other times. I like the color and the idea of it, but unfortunately I just couldn't get those two fabrics to work together because I think it's because the main shirt fabric was very light and thin compared to the structure and also elasticity of the rib knit, but that's my only guess. Next one that I said I would make, or one of the next ones, was a hooded cloak for a Lord of the Rings costume for my husband. I got the clasp and everything, and then I went to cut this fabric that I had bought for it, and it was too narrow. And so I wasn't able to make the cloak no matter how I turned the pattern, no matter how many pieces I cut it into. Like, I could not fit it. And so unfortunately, I didn't end up making the cloak for my husband, which is really sad because it was going to be super fun matching my elf dress. However, I do have plans for this winter now. So the next thing that I made and that I had planned to make was the Emerson Pants from True Bias. They turned out really great. I do love them. In fact, just the other day, I actually took them in about an inch on each side because I felt that they were too baggy in certain areas that I didn't want them to be baggy. And now that I've done that, I especially like them even more. So this is a great pattern. I love it. Like I said, I've made it in two fabrics now, like a more structured wool, and I did that in the cropped version, which is the actual version. And these ones I ended up lengthening by about 4 inches, which I would probably go more because the hem is like only 1/4 of an inch. So next time I'd probably extend it and do like a chunky hem. I think that would look really cute, probably like a 2-inch hem. So yeah, these turned out really great. I'm going to be popping up some images of me wearing them. I would recommend this pattern. I really do like it, and I'm looking forward to trying some of their other patterns in the future. Next, I planned to make, and I did make, my elf dress. Now, this was a lot of work, but it was really vital for me, honestly, to do this project in order to like push me forward to the next steps in my sewing journey and being able to improve so much. So what I did was literally I worked on this until right before I went to my event on Halloween. I think it was my husband's work party. So it was so much work. There's so many mistakes on this. I don't really like how this facing looks. There's so many awful things, but at the end of the day, I'm still very proud of it and I love it. The fabric is nice and I can't believe that I made this. So yeah, this was honestly an awful make. I hated the process, but at the end of the day, it was such a fun thing to wear and it made me excited to want to do more things like this in the future, but possibly not with this fabric. I can't say that I love working with chiffon. I think that was more challenging than the satin, and yeah, Not my favorite fabric to work with, but it was really fun to make. Well, but it wasn't really fun to make, to be honest. I hated the making process, but I'm glad that I made it, and I did do it. So the next thing that I made in the fall was a bunch of basic t-shirts. And I actually didn't include this in my fall video at all, but after I filmed that, I was like, you know what? I don't have basic t-shirts at all. Like I had maybe one long sleeve shirt and it didn't go with like anything. So I was really desperate for needing some basic layering t-shirts. So I used the Studio Carolina sheer pattern to make several of these. This one I hacked and put a mock neck on it. This one is not a Studio Carolina shirt. This one I didn't include in my, so I actually made a whole video about the process of making these layering pieces. So if you want to check that out, you can check it here. I didn't include this one on it. This was also the Studio Carolina shirt. However, it was not from the same fabric store that I got all these other fabrics from. This was from my stash, this knit fabric from Joann, which I actually really hate the fabric itself, but I love the print. So I like to wear it because of the print. And then we've got this one, also the Studio Carolina sheer tee. This is one of my favorite ones. I really am in love with this deep forest green right now. And some of these are actually in the wash. So I don't have all of them to show you. And then along with those, I also tried to mimic a shirt that I already owned, which I had some issues with doing that, but I came to a final product that I was happy with. And this is my mimic of the Gap shirt that I have. It's got this chunky cuff here, which is one of the features that I really like about this shirt. And also I really like the neckline. So this is very comfy and cozy. Most of these fabrics, all the ones that I showed you here, except for the one from Joann, is from Raspberry Creek Fabrics, and these specific shirts are made with bamboo. So I think it's a cotton, jersey, spandex, bamboo. So many things to remember, but it's very luxurious and super soft and comfy, and I love these shirts very much and would 100% recommend this fabric, and I can't wait to buy it again for my short sleeve shirts that I'm probably going to make in the spring and summer. So these were super fun. I love them. I wear them all the time, and I really did need the layering pieces. So even though I didn't add it in my fall wardrobe because I didn't realize it at the time, I'm really glad that I snuck these in and made them. So also included in that video of the layering pieces was a overlayer piece instead of an underlayer piece. And this is my den jacket from Chalk and Notch. This was a really fun make. I wasn't sure how it was going to come out because I didn't particularly like all of the ones that other people had made. There was just something about them that was just too much all of the same color. And then I saw one person make this with contrasting fabric, like on the placket and the pockets. And I don't think they did it on the neckline, but sorry, the collar. I don't think they did it on the collar, but I chose to. And then I also, like, if I roll this up, you can see that I put on the inside as well. So I like it better that I did that. Sometimes I'm not sure I like the color of this corduroy, but I do like the contrast. So overall, I really like this jacket. I'm happy that I made it. It's a great layering piece, goes with a lot of things. It's not as comfy as I would have liked. Maybe I could have done like a size up. But yeah, this is, I don't think this was on that video either, actually. So obviously I snuck in several things that I wasn't planning on making. All right, so now I've got two shirts that I said I was going to make that I didn't end up making. There was this button up over here. I guess in the end, as I studied the pattern, I just felt like maybe the fit wouldn't be quite what I was looking for. So I didn't end up purchasing that or making it. And then this one over here as well, I still really, really like this shirt. It's just, I don't like the puff sleeve. So if I do purchase that pattern, I would probably figure out a different sleeve situation so that it wasn't puffy, because I'd rather just a nice fitted sleeve versus a puffy sleeve. So maybe I'll make it in the future, but I'm not sure. But I didn't end up making those shirts. However, I did make one more thing this fall that I wasn't planning on making when I made that video. I was part of the promotional team for Linen Lab and Magic Studio to help with the release of their ginkgo pinafore. So I sewed up this beautiful ginkgo pinafore in this green twisted linen. It's very heavy. I wasn't expecting it to be so heavy, but the skirt is quite a lot. There's quite a lot of skirt here on the front and the back. And also this is lined. So it's got quite a bit of weight to it, which I feel is perfect for the colder days. So I'm actually really glad that it's heavy. I just wasn't expecting it to be heavy, but I have really enjoyed layering this with a lot of those basic shirts that I have. I also have a really cute Anthea blouse that I made last year that I like to wear underneath this. And I don't know if you can hear my kids, but they're really loud right now. Anyway, it's been a really fun pinafore to wear. So I feel really cute when I wear it. And yeah, I really like this dress. So in a nutshell, those are all the things that I made this fall. And they were practical, and I really have enjoyed wearing them. And I'm looking forward to continuing to wear them throughout the winter months. I have already posted my what I plan to make this winter video. So if you haven't seen that, you can check that out here. And maybe it can provide some inspiration for you in choosing what to sew for your own wardrobe. I hope that this video was also helpful and that you're able to see that it's okay to change your plans sometimes. I try to be authentic with what I like to wear and what I think I'm actually going to wear instead of just like making whatever's out there. I've really been trying to hone in on my style, which I think is like quite variable between like what I'm wearing today, very dressed up, and almost more like cottage core, and sometimes even different from that. So like I have different set styles within my style that I can branch out into, which I think is really fun. And it's just been fun to figure out what I like to wear. And sewing my own clothes has helped me in that process. Sometimes it feels like a waste, all the things that I've made that I'm like, oh, I don't like to wear that. I don't like that silhouette on me, but it's taught me what I do like. So in the end, I've grown my skills and I figured out what I do and don't like to wear. And I'm still figuring that out. Like sometimes you don't know until you make it up. So anyway, I hope this was inspiring to you. Please like this video if you liked it, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content like this, and I'll see you on the next one. Happy sewing. Bye.